This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, the difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Centers, Maraval and St. Clair, they don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is their thing. That's why PNM quite on turn coat to UNC. And when Del Monte, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector McLean, the speaker, swore PNM till he dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka Singh, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity and he joined about 5 parties. So he's only die-hard new and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC.
Get along.
I lie. Oh, yeah, lie. This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is only a power play to get our sympathy. It's not about African, it's neither East Indian. It have nothing to do with anybody's religion. Kamaluddin is a Muslim, Mahathir a Christian to the brim. Yet Montano the mulatto, different race, same party, you know. Johnny Milton's and the rest are one, are 2 Chinese politicians. And while both of them love PNM, Brian Whiteton had a problem. Them French Creoles in St. Anne's, Maraval and St. Clair, tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Right through, rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is their thing. The name Steve Ferguson is really an East Indian who with Ishak Galbaran sing, both parties they financing. Joey Saw and Emil Elias are PNM Lebanese, and yet Sabla of the same cast helps UNC pay their fees. Syrian businessman John Rahel, PNM make him mayor. An African wave mark as well, UNC made him minister. PNM's fundraising dinner had businessmen of all color. So it's only Chupidi, you and me. It's PNM and UNC.
Get along.
Alive. This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, it foolishly splitting we on the grounds of ethnicity. It make friends mash up fast, race hatred it unmask. It cause ignorant people to bring out the gun and cutlass. And while poor people arguing about who good and who should win, the leaders jumping like monkey from one party to party. Just look at Arthur Sanderson, Horace Brooms is the next one. Of course they could skip, they deserve a pick for hop, step and jump next Olympics. Look here.
10 French Creoles in Saint-Anne's, Maraval and St. Clair.
Tell them
They don't know allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win.
that's right.
Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is everything.
Halsey Bagan left UNC to open she own party. Kamala says that now previously she run wrong to UNC. Abu Bakr supported all three and now he for nobody. Errol McLeod walking wrong daily, so you can't say which side he be. ANR, my good friend, walked out on Eric Williams years ago, and yet last year he would say how he loved Eric for so. Ralph Maraj and Manning get away, and Ralph was UNC next day. And yet Curtis, you cussing stupid me for
PNM and UNC.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
God bless. Yeah,
Alice Liverpool.
Shockers.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is coming at you again.
Hey, Chucky. Hey, Lion. Come over, don't be doing.
Thank you, brothers and sisters, for getting the message. This thing called PNL, this thing called UNC, it don't mean one blessed thing to Britain, France and Germany. It don't hold no water for Clinton and John Major. Them don't care who in power once they collect the Canada. When Clinton buy oil and sugar, no party doesn't matter. Them greenbacks that Clinton send we, Mark and Jack or UNC. That's why Deborah Mickens lately for the Tobago Assembly. I say hats off to she for thinking like me when you see it independently.
Them French Creoles in Saint-Anne's, Maraval and St. Clair.
Tell them
They don't know allegiance or no party here.
rich men just be supported who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends means nothing. Money is everything. Abu Bakr left BNM, open his own party. Moving as some run from A&R to now, then he run back by UNC. Morgan Job joined now recently, cause he said that he loved Robbie. But while he in now bodily, he mind still up in UNC. Party in TNT, money is their ideology. That's why Brian White don't tell me he ain't taking over our poverty. Ramesh Maharaj cussing Manning, but do you know he was PNM years ago? So would somebody show me the morality in
PNM and UNC.
alive? God bless. Keep your show.
Lord, praise the Lord.
Alice Liverpool. Shockers!
Yes, my good people. I'm DJ Marisha coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Yes, it's a lovely Wednesday evening here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. And we have a very packed and interested evening this evening coming to you. But let's just drop this ad for those of you who may be just scrolling the web and bump into us and maybe wondering what this podcast is all about. Let's take a quick listen.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishall, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. I'm DJ Marisha, and I'm here every Wednesday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. local time in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And now that you got the information about this podcast, let's take a little ride across to our sister island here, Queen City, Nevis. Let's hear from my boy Carbo in Fountain.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Punji and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over. Food all over. You got the food all over.
Yes, Brother Carbo definitely have the food all over the island of Nevis there. And you can get Carbo anytime you have a special event, wedding parties, repast, whatever. Carbo is ready to take care of you with his goodies. So give Brother Carbo a call and let him know DJ Marisha sent you. Now let's take a quick listen to Sister Carmen of Carmen Caterers.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites on Sundays. Opposite the our shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food that is finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
For sure, you don't want nothing better than that from Sister Carmen, and she's right there at Shirlane, right across from the West Ferry Terminal there, Monday to Saturday from midday until 5 p.m. And on Sunday, you can catch her over there in the bus stop across from the Agawa shop in Boyd's Village. As I've said to you guys, you want to catch Carmen on a Sunday, try to get there before 2 p.m., even though she's scheduled to be there until 5. I have been there at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and the food is all gone. So check out Sister Carmen and get your goodies on Sunday as well. Now let's take a quick listen to my boy there, Brother Daniel, over there at the Hydro Farm in Nevis, giving you some business tragedies.
Welcome to Strategies for Business Success, right here on 2020visionradio.com and on 102.1 FM with business development advocate Daniel Arthurton. Each week, Danny will build on a foundation to ensure your success in business. Being in business can be daunting, and Strategies for Business Success can help you avoid the pitfalls. Join Danny right here on 2020visionradio.com, on 102.1 FM, and on your other social media platforms every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. That's right, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. The time and place for your business dreams to come true.
For sure, check with Brother Danny and he can definitely give you some good pointers. I want to big up my boy there, Brother Batcha there. Batcha was here last Wednesday. That's the bus driver there, Newton Ground, that is dealing with a stroke at the moment. And for you folks that sent some contribution across last week, it was well received, very appreciative. I met up with Brother Batcha and gave him his little sentiments, as my grandmother would call it. And he's very appreciative of it. And for you folks that has made your pledge and is still in waiting, I know that Brother Batcha can use it, so try and get it to me as soon as you can for that. This evening I'm here. The spirit is kind of medium to low. There's a lot that have taken place over the past weekend, and even today. You know, all I'm be getting is a lot of young people dying out. They're dying like they plan to come back at some point in time, but from what I know, when you leave this side, you're not coming back. So I would hope that you folks that plan to leave don't be in a hurry. You know, I got the family there of Brother Douglas, Kenny Douglas. His brother passed away a few days ago. Big man there they call Leroy, I think. Sorry, Sully, as a pet name, took flight. Somebody told me today another partner, mechanic guy there from Sandy Point, passed away as well. I don't want to call his name because I'm not familiar with his family and they haven't given me the authorization, but I understand he passed away as well. But I want to big up my brother there, my boy Romeo Paris, who is currently nursing a little toe wound. I know Brother Paris to be a pharmacist, very educated, very hard-working community man. But in speaking with Brother Paris on Monday, apparently he decided to take on a lawnmower while cutting his grass there at his home. And the lawnmower actually got the better of him. The lawnmower won the fight. So he's currently nursing a little wound of his toe. I want to send out some praise and love for Brother Paris and wish him a speedy recovery. And for you folks that may have Mr. Paris' number, give him a call. He needs the support, he needs the love. That's a gentleman I was looking at as a candidate for number 7 to try bring some relief to the community here, because as we all know, if you listen to the opening song, there's so many political parties, but the citizens are still crying. We're going to get into all the conversation in a bit. So, Brother Romeo, speedy recovery, my brother. Get well soon. Hope to see you on the outside. I'm going to give you a quick listen of my boy J.A. Dwyer Astafan commentary for today. I'm still waiting for Dwyer to touch Brother Khan's Edward situation. He's still staying away from the local affairs here that is affecting the local people, but he's into the money business. You know how these guys, they look at the dollar. So let's take a quick listen to Dwyer speaking about the dollar.
Greetings. We all know that the Ralph Gonsalves letter concerning the official residence of the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank has churned up quite a storm. The ECCB is the central bank for the OECS. Its establishment and operations are grounded in a treaty which was signed back in 1983 and adopted into law by the OECS member territories. In our country, the relevant act is found at chapter 21.06. You can find it online. Go to lawcommission.gov.kn and navigate accordingly. The bank, of course, is located in St. Kitts. The purposes of the bank are to issue cash in EC currency, to regulate the availability of cash and credit in the sub-region, to regulate the banking system, to promote financial stability, to safeguard the international value of the currency, to help promote and sustain a sound financial structure conducive to balanced growth and that sort of stuff. The chain of command is, at the top, the Council of Ministers of Finance of the member states. That body deals with the macro matters, oversight, general policy, that sort of thing. Below that body is the Board of Directors, made up of high-level technocrats from the various governments. Then there's the management and staff. The governor of the bank is the chairman of the Board of Directors, and he's also the CEO of the bank, and he reports to the Council of Ministers. We the people obviously do not know enough about the bank, its beginnings, what it is, what it does, how it works. Indeed, we do not know enough about our important institutions generally, and ignorance can be a terrible obstacle to enlightenment and prosperity. Which brings me to the letter of Dr. Gonzalez, addressed to Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Mr. Gaston Brown, in which Dr. Gonzalez addresses Mr. Brown as the chairman of the Council of Ministers. Why did Dr. Gonzalez write a letter in the first place? Wouldn't it have been more discreet and responsible of him, at least for starters, to speak confidentially to his colleague leaders in the OECS rather than writing? Wouldn't that have generated an inquiry anyway and a full explanation to the people of the OECS anyway, just like a letter can, except that in the case of confidential phone calls to your colleague leaders, there's less risk of leak. Now, I'm not against the public having information, but concern has to be raised with regard to the implications and consequences of information coming out like this and leaders behaving like this. But again, why did Dr. Gonzalez address his letter specifically to PM Brown? Was PM Brown at the time chair of the Ministerial Council? No. The chairmanship of the council rotates annually among the ministers. That rotation takes place in July of each year. For example, from July 2021 to 2022, St. Kitts Nevis sat in the chair in the person of Dr. Timothy Harris, who was then Minister of Finance, of course, and Prime Minister. From July 2022 to July 2023, it was Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Philip Pierre of St. Lucia. From July 23 to July 24, it was Mr. Camilo Gonzalez, the Minister of Finance for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the son of Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez. And in July 2024, it became Anguilla's turn when then Premier Dr. James Webster took the chair. And Anguilla is to pass it on to Antigua Barbuda in July. Now, there was an election in Anguilla on February 26th of this year, just a couple of weeks ago. Bear in mind the dates that I'm going to give you. That election led to a change of administration. So Anguilla got a new premier. But did that election prematurely end Anguilla's term as chair? If not, is it customary that after your last meeting as chair during your year, although your year may not be completed, is it customary that your successor in effect takes over and that all matters are now referred to your successor at the exclusion of yourself, the successor who has not yet taken the chair? I don't know. We need to know how this thing works. But to make things even more intriguing, consider this. Remember, the elections in Anguilla were held on February 26th. But Dr. Gonzalez's letter to PM Brown was dated February 17th, 9 days before the Anguilla election, when Dr. Webster was still Premier of Anguilla. and still chairman of the Council of Ministers. So why did Dr. Gonzalez not address his letter of February 17th to Premier Webster? But there's more. There was a ministerial council meeting right here in Bastia on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Minister Camilo Gonzalez was present. Dr. Webster was present. And guess who chaired that meeting? Dr. Webster. Are you confused? If so, that makes two of us. We really need to understand these things. Whoever can enlighten us, please do so. I've tried, but I'm yet to get clarity on the matter. In his letter, Dr. Gonzalez's outburst of indignation is interesting. He speaks of outrageous, scandalous mismanagement and worse. And he seems to have a particular appetite for the head of the present governor, singling him out as the culprit in chief. Maybe PM Gonzalez sees this as a good opportunity to launch a campaign to get rid of Governor Antoine. He has a right. I am not vexed with him for that. Now, with all of that said, we would be foolish if Prime Minister Gonzalez's comments did not cause us concern and pause to think about all of this, how things happen at the bank, and answers are necessary. But we have to bear in mind that banks, whether they're small, medium, large, or humongous, banks can be very vulnerable, especially if there's a public drop in confidence. Worse so, if the bank in question is a central bank. In this case, the central bank for 8 small, vulnerable island states. And especially at a time like this, when geopolitical realities suggest that we are in for a tough time going forward. We must appreciate, therefore, the deadly damage that this can do to us in the OECS if the matter is not properly handled. And the more I think of it, the more I regret the way in which this information has come to the public. Yes, the information is our business, and we need to know our business. But we also need to be responsible, those who receive and those who disseminate information. And we need to refrain from doing things in an ill-advised and self-defeating manner. So while it is absolutely necessary that measures and mechanisms are adopted to consistently preserve and protect the bank's integrity, its efficiency, and its transparency, it was equally necessary to conduct and activate these measures and mechanisms in full appreciation of the delicate nature of the situation. After all, that bank is the cornerstone of the OECS. Confidence in that bank could be catastrophic if it falls within the region and beyond, among people and among institutions and governments. If confidence in that bank falls, it could be catastrophic for the OECS and for the rest of the region, because the OECS more than punches its weight in regional affairs, economic and otherwise. And this is why I prefer the approach of Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown to that of Prime Minister Gonzalez on this matter. Mr. Brown sensibly admitted that there are governance failures at the ECCB, and he called for closer examination of those failures, rather than casting personal blame and uttering claims of corruption. And he's right. Examine and investigate the situation and take appropriate steps thereafter, rather than concluding and convicting before a proper fact-finding process is completed. How will the public get the full picture if you convict somebody before a trial takes place, and a full trial? And I use those terms loosely because this is not a criminal trial. We don't even know what it is. While PM Brown acknowledged the need for stronger governance and oversight, and also admitted that the Ministerial Council had been caught flat-footed by the ballooning cost of the house project, he also affirmed that there was no evidence that the governor had sought to be excessive, no evidence of corruption or of the undermining of the governor's integrity. He said that blaming Governor Antoine is misplaced, that the ECCB does not operate at the whim of the governor, and that the expenditure for the house would have undergone broad level approval, making it a collective rather than an individual decision of the governor. Can understand the muscularity and the extreme tone of the contents of Dr. Gonzalez's letter. Past being clinical, sounds personal. So I'm told that as we speak, the situation is being examined, and that is the right thing to do. I expect that the examination will be independent and professional, and it will be unimpeachably administered, and that the public will be appropriately informed and in a timely manner. Let us give the process a fair chance, therefore, and let proper and fair action be taken. This is a very serious matter, and we in the OECS must treat it as a teachable moment. And we, our central bank, and our institutions must try to come out of all of this better and stronger and more resilient. Thank you very much.
Brother Dwyer, thanks for the usual very informative, in-depth commentary. My only concern, Dwyer, I really have to have a conversation with you, because I realize that you take the time out when it comes to these big money spending overseas and regionally and stuff like that. But we got some issues right here in our bill of federation that you're not touching, Dwyer. So let me try give you a little bit reminder. Maybe you could come up with something next week for me. Because while the ECCB, which is the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, which is combined with all of the OECS countries, prime ministers or ministers of finance, with a board, which I understand our FS is on that board. That's a private entity by itself. But we have issues here in our bill of federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, where our tax dollar are not being spent properly. You got some connection to some people that you seem to don't want to touch. If we're going to be fair about these things and trying to get freedom of information, let's be open with the people. Because right now, people are calling our prime minister corrupt, and he got a problem with it. And whether he's corrupt or not, as I have said time and time again, when it comes to the lack of information from the people that we elect to run our federation, people gonna come up with their own ideas. So it's either you bring the information to the people openly and freely, or they're gonna come up with the ideas. Now, last Friday, I woke up to something came across my media from Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Terence Joe. And on his Facebook page, he says, "Greetings. This morning I woke up to desperate individuals spreading lies in the media in an attempt to destroy my integrity and character. I have been in politics for a while, and I have never subscribed to this kind of politics. I often let things slide, but accusing me of corruption and boldly putting your lies on social media will be met with a strong response." I do not know what the Prime Minister expects to get, what kind of response from this kind of posting. I heard of the posting from an individual. I heard since the Prime Minister made his post that post was took down. Now, if you really follow the facts of what have transpired since August 15 to now, a lot of people that has been out there now on social media over the past couple of days, because I think my good friend there, Wally, with his rock paper, did an article on the same matter. And there are some people posting that he must take the person to court, make them pay, and this kind of stuff. You know, the bad thing about it is we got some dangerous people in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, dangerous to the core. Because I know some of those people that are making these comments about taking this individual to court and make them pay. These same individuals have met me in the street and complained to me about the nepotism and the bad actors within the Labour Party and the current administration, how only certain people benefiting and they cannot get a break and whatever. So when they're going to come and complain to me on the side about what is happening, in the Labour administration, and then you're going to go on social media to give the Prime Minister impression that you're supporting him. These are the kind of friends and families we have out there. They are shadow friends. They are shadow family. In front of your face, they are the best support for you. Behind your back, they'll be happy to kill you. So, Mr. Prime Minister, my advice to you, and I know you don't take my advice because you don't pay me as an advisor. Some of these things, ignore your advisors and this about taking people to court. Let these things roll off your back. You are already 2.5 years into your first term. You say you want to get 2 terms. You guys are not batting too well right now. You guys are batting like the West Indies. If you plan to win this tournament and move on to the next round, a lot of things have to change. I can say to you, Mr. Prime Minister, and these are factual. You have a lot of actors around you in all ministries throughout the civil service and within your party. They have mastered the art to make you think they are in big support of you, full support of you, or they're doing a great job and they ain't doing none. All they're doing is messing things up for you. It's because of what your functionaries are doing. Your party supporters are doing, people you put in position to represent you. Because of them messing up people, messing with citizens, not giving them an opportunity, you are getting this kind of word, you know. And guess what? The words them is well deserved, you know, because they're self-inflicted. I have spoken to you, Mr. Prime Minister. And I know people have spoken to you about some of your actors you have out there, but you choose to stick with your actors. So if you're going to stick with your actors and those ministers in that shuffling cabinet and not listening to the citizens that put you all there, the time will come where this is midterm, you know. And from what I know, when you get a midterm test is to prepare you for the final test, which is not too far from now. So if you're going to get a couple of hard words to tell you to shape up in the situation, and instead of you're going to shape up, you're going to take people to court. Well, when the final come, where the people now going to go into a booth to put their X and red up their finger or dirty up their finger, when you're going to feel they will measure the people, is that what you want? The people are talking now, how they feel about situation. Listen to the people. Hear what the people are saying and make the adjustments. I can say to you, Mr. Prime Minister, the struggle is real and the struggle continues. There are many people who was not there for the fight and they are benefiting more than the people who was fighting. There are many of them you have in position. They are there because of a change of government. And the people who was on the ground fighting to change the government can't get a break. Well, them who was there telling me when I was marching in Bastille, some of them telling me I got to be getting paid for all the work I'm putting in. And if I want them to march with me, I got to pay them. But they're riding around in big government vehicle now. They're up and down in government house. You're up and down in your office. You all have your big party. You all are partying together now, but these are the same rat. These are the same hogs. These are the same dangerous people that when the rough time come, they're going to be there for you. They're going to shift. I gave the story before. On election day, we was up at the area up there, number 2. Okay? And the amount of yellow and white and orange shirts I see up there. That day, election day. Marsha Henderson office had several boxes of red t-shirts. The last time I checked the night before. And by Saturday morning, the 6th of August, somebody called me from New York and asked me if I could get them a red shirt. And I gone to Marsha office to get a red shirt. No red shirt left there. The red shirt them disappear. I was surprised. I was sitting on a truck on 4th Street the morning after you was whether sworn in or showed your new office because you was the elected person. And all of those people that I saw in yellow and orange and all kind of color representing the party, they had on their head. The red shirt then was not enough. These people are vampires. They are bloodsuckers. And I got a problem with this kind of political thing that we run in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Because I'm not going to hide behind a wall to tell nobody how I feel. I support you, Prime Minister Joe, all the way. But I'm going to let you know how I feel, whether privately, when I get the opportunity, or publicly if I cannot get to do it privately. And the time is now for me to let you know what the people are saying on the ground. Because come campaign season, come election day, only one vote the DJ have, you know. And the DJ vote going to be number 6. I do not know if it's going to be for myself or for a candidate, because people are asking me to run. I mean, I run going to place because I'm an Olympian. I am a DJ. I'm an electrician by trade, and I'm here trying to do the right thing for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. But I just want us to be honest with ourselves, honest with the people, Mr. Prime Minister. I'm not going to select my partner big less things not going well, because things going well for a lot of people. But a lot of people things not going well for. Let me go back to Dwyer for a bit. Dwyer is speaking about the ECCB bank, which is regional. But I've been trying to have a conversation with Dwyer for some time now. During the campaign of 2022, I said this to Dwyer. What going on with this hospital wing in Nevis? Why you are not touching it? Why Freedom FM not touching it? Why ZIZ not touching it? Why Win FM not touching it? Why Van Radio not touching it? Well, you want to tell me that the money in the OECS, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, is more important to you all than the money, the taxpayers' money in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis? Because, to my understanding, you know, the federal government subsidizes civil servants and navies, amongst other things. I understand under the farmer administration, millions went over there. And I heard the former prime minister say the premier was a bad spender. But the premier said that was the best prime minister we ever had. So I do not know who telling the truth. But this hospital wing, the Alexandra Hospital wing, I want to know why Dwyer is staying away from it. And I want to get him interested in this conversation. Because while they're talking about the ECCB bank, that estimated to be some 7 million, and the overrun by 75%, it ballooned to 75%, which is a 15 million overrun. I don't know how long it's been billing. And I know 3 sevens are 21. So I don't know where the 22 come in, right? But let's compare it to the Alexandria Hospital. According to information through my research, that expansion wing at the Alexandria Hospital was estimated to be some 8 million, you know. 8 million to do that wing. Eventually, it went up to some 17 million price tag under the administration there in Nevis, from what I understand. And according to the information provided, it was supposed to be done in 24 months. It started in 2017. It should have been completed in 2019. And all we've been getting is excuse after excuse. During the 2022 campaign, I can record vividly, I was in Nevis doing my own observation. And the campaign from the Blue Party was that the hospital wing will be ready to open. The visitors that came in see a brand new painted, spanking building. But nobody was smart enough to go and look on the inside to see that there's nothing in there, it's just a shell. So the voters that came into this brand new hospital, they came into a shell with a nice paint job on the outside. And they left the people of Nevis in a mess. But since then, from 2017 to now, we're in 2025. I have listened to budget after budget, $12 million a year, $12 million, $12 million budgeted for this hospital. We are in 2025, I understand, over some 30 million, more than 7 years later. But I ain't hear Dwyer doing a commentary on that. Is it because Nevis too close? He cannot see? Well, I have no problem holding Dwyer hand and take him across to Nevis, you know. Because it looks like I have to take Dwyer by his hand and the full cabinet of ministers, including the Prime Minister, by the hand and walk them into Nevis a Saturday afternoon and talk to the people of Nevis. So when people talking about corruption, it's a whole colossal of stuff that people are talking about. They're not saying directly to you, Mr. Prime Minister, that you personally may have committed some corruption on your own. It's the system they're speaking about. The system is corrupted, and we have to acknowledge that. We have to admit that. Mr. Prime Minister, I was part of the campaign. I was in the hole. I was in the trench. And who want to deny it, history will tell you. When I started the campaign against the former Prime Minister, because my campaign was against Timothy Harris, you know. It's Timothy Harris I set out to get rid of. I said anybody but Tim. If Sean and Mark had followed my lead, there would not be a Labour government today. Because the Labour people said they were sitting down and sipping water, minding the business. There's a video that went viral with Douglas come out of Parliament, sitting in some coffee shop in Bastille with the foot cock sipping the coffee. So he cocking the foot and minding the business, sipping the coffee and minding the business. Nobody expected elections in 22. Election was in 2020. An election was not constitutionally due until 2025. I can recall when I was on my campaign trail to get rid of the former Prime Minister, which is my mission. And Dwyer Sam was on this program with me one night. I have said this time and time again. Dwyer asked me the question, well, Jeffrey, election was in 2020. We are in 2021. And you're campaigning for election in 22. Well, how you expect to have election in 22 when election is due in 25? And I said to Dwyer, Dwyer, there's some big stone around all road there. You think the DJ could go around there and put that stone in his vehicle and bring it to St. Paul's in here? Dwyer said no. I said, but if I go around there every night with a 2-pound hammer, a chisel, and a bucket and chip some stone every night, can't I move the stone in my yard in St. Paul's? And Dwyer said, yes. I said, pay attention. Pay attention because the people will wake up one day and see what I'm talking about. Well, the people woke up and the pressure was placed on them and they start to fight amongst themselves. And the fear shame man in Nevis and Sean decide that they're making a demand. Well, when they made the demand, it was the happiest thing for me. It was the best thing for St. Kitts Nevis because I know Timo was not going to give in. And Timo said he went to the Governor General and said he wants 6 at a blow. He fired 6 of them ass. That is why we have a new government today. This government, the Labour administration, seems to forget how they get there. They didn't have to work hard for it. We had people on the ground working hard for them because they was prepared to wait until 25. But my God, you all get an opportunity. Whereas had Timothy, Mark Brantley, and Sean Richards had hold that thing together, Labour would never see the sight of government in St. Kitts for years to come. They would have never seen a government. But because of people like the DJ and others, and not take it away from people like Curtis Crook and EK and Big Lice and Douglas Watley and Larry Vaughan, Dwyer Sam, Ira McMahon. Do not take it away from them. We was there. There was a lot of innocent people on the ground. People died for this government, fighting. Families have not benefited, but people who was there cussing the DJ, telling the DJ he's a terrorist, go back where he come from, today benefiting. Who MPS is pissy. And I mean it literally pissy. You know, the problem I have with our people of St. Kitts and Nevis, we only know how to knock down the people that help them. The people that you help is going to take you down. They do not see who hurting them. We elect a government to take care of the people of St. Kitts Nevis. And this DJ cannot, in good conscience, stand by and see things happening to our people and don't speak about it. I am a private citizen. I have a right to an opinion. This podcast started in 2020, giving my opinion, giving the facts. The Labour Party benefited from it. So why? Now that government change, the DJ supposed to change this conversation? The answer is no. Well, my good people, after I heard about all the worry over the weekend, you guys know me. I had a conversation with several individuals. I reached out to Google to help me with some understanding. Even though I understand the situation, I still reach out to Google for some help. And I asked Google to help me out with this corruption matter. Give me some definitions. And I get a few of them. And one of the definitions I received was corruption is the abuse of power for personal gain, whether financial or non-financial. It can involve asking for, giving, or receiving something in exchange for favor. Basically, that's what Google said. Google went on to say political corruption is the use of power by government officials or their network contacts for illegitimate private gain. Form of corruption vary but can include bribery, lobbying, extortion, cronyism, nepotism, influence peddling, a lot of other stuff. So if we're going to follow the definition of corruption, like someone told me over the weekend, all of them corrupt. But guess what? I said, no, give them a break. It can't be all. Because I still have some confidence in my prime minister. So I'm going to give it 90. Somebody said, no, 99. I said, no, I'm going to stick with me 90. They said, no, 95. But I'm going to stick with my 90. Because I want to believe that once the prime minister start paying attention, once the prime minister start paying attention and understand what he's dealing with, you're going to have to do something. Because if he don't do something about the situation, it's going to come back to haunt him. It is going to come back to haunt him. So, you good people out there, I feel your pain. I feel your all pain. But instead of getting yourself into trouble by going on social media and calling politicians and ministers of parliament corrupt, I do not know about those in opposition, but them in the government, call them smart. You can't get no kind of letter for that. Because these days, the letters, them is 250,000 within 21 days. DJ Marisha ain't got them kind of money there. So I'm asking you all, please call them smart. Because everything about them is smart. You're going to be smart houses, smart hospitals, smart individual, and it's an A1 team. So call them smart. You cannot go around using the word smart. Now, there was, I understand, a press conference last Thursday. And the DJ really did not have the time to go to the press conference or listen to the press conference, because if I did, which means I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, and I couldn't afford to get myself into any trouble. But if the Prime Minister were to listen to his people at that press conference, his representative, his deputy Prime Minister and them talking, he would understand why people talking about corruption, you know. Because I can recall my partner Big Lies talking about this East Coast company that got the contract to build these homes. I hear people on the street talking about them. I was one of the individuals that went across there to Canary to look at one of the houses that was designed that was given to somebody. And I said, give it a chance. But the alarm was sounded long time about the problem. And my good people, when I speak about the press conference, one of the most disappointing things for me at these press conferences is our journalism. St. Kitts Nevis journalism does not understand the journey. They go to these press conferences and it's like a skit. They're allowing the Prime Minister and whoever having these press conferences to dictate who asks question and what question to ask. You are a journalist. You go there to ask for the information to satisfy the general public and to hold their foot to the fire. So when you all go there as journalists, even if it's only one question, you all get some good information, and all you got to hold one head and get the information. You all cannot just go there and listen to these people rambling off some nonsense to you and accept it. I'm going to play a clip right now from the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Hanley. I can't call him honorable because he have given me enough reason not to call him honorable. He's not an honorable gentleman. So let's take a listen to the clip.
As you know, as a country, we engage the East Coast Housing Development in assisting us in delivering some homes. Unfortunately, the 600 homes that we were anticipating, with all of the challenges that we might have been experiencing, not us so much as a government, but the investor, that has caused some delays. These matters are being worked on. And what I said to the Federation is that based on the contractual arrangement that we would have signed, the AG office, of course, is working on ensuring that the government's interest, which it is protected. But
now, my question to the journalists then, when the Deputy Prime Minister made this nonsensical statement, where were they to follow up and let him elaborate on what the nonsense he's talking about? I can't use the word I really want to use it tonight, my good people. But what the F he was talking about? What he mean that there was difficulties? What are the difficulties? Where's the contract? What are the people of this country have to deal with? This is my concern with these journalists. They go into this press conference and they blow out all kind of nonsense and they walk out feeling good. They tap each other on the shoulder because they get you another one. We need to know the facts about this housing business. I remember they said it was the best thing ever. They're going to deliver 2,400 homes in their first term. 600 homes per year, I think they said. They're halfway through their first term, more than halfway. And these journalists sit down in there and let Jeffrey walk out of there smiling with that nonsense. I can't even get upset with them anymore. I got to get upset with the journalists them. Because you go in there as a journalist, you go in there to ask the real question them for the people of the Federation. Come back and let the people feel satisfied that You did your job as a journalist. You don't understand the journey. Let's have a little session, because I can give you guys some pointers. You're not doing a good job as a journalist. You're really not doing a good job at all. And I don't mean to come here and beat up on all, you know, because I understand that when you go into these meetings, people don't want to answer certain questions. You know, I understand that. But is you got to make them answer them. They're not going to answer them freely. Now, we got a similar situation. Following the election of 22, we heard the Prime Minister at a press conference at a round table, and even on this podcast, he came and said that, and he said it in Parliament as well, that they locate over 100 cases of fake marriages. I've been calling on them now for the past couple of years, since they've been elected, to come and tell us the status of these fake marriages. And we can't hear nothing about these fake marriages. But yet, we are hearing now from our AG at that press conference, talking about 1,200, not 100 anymore. They got about 1,200 fake marriages that they suspect, but ain't nothing can be done because people need to come forward to make the case stick. And Mr. AG, if you don't have the facts of these fake marriages, you can't make it stick. When you come to the general public, gaslighting the general public with these matters. And this way the journalists again should pressure you, jam you, get more information. Because coming to a press conference, telling the general public that you suspect 1,200 fake marriage cases and you don't have any facts to prosecute, you're gaslighting the citizens. Is it responsible as an AG to do something like that? And this is where people are upset, people are getting annoyed, and people are calling this fake business because it's not fair to the people. It's not fair to the people. And the thing about it is, you know, let's take a quick listen here, because it's not me who say it.
Citizenship Act, which allow the minister with responsibility for citizenship to revoke citizenship if it is determined that it was obtained by fraud. Now, from a practical perspective, it is extremely difficult for any government entity to resolve 1,200 potential fraudulent marriages in a short space of time. So all I will say on that is that you need to give the ministry some time to work. It's also very difficult to get the evidence. So I'll give you an example. With one of the matters that was an investigation was conducted, the person that received the money actually issued a statement to the police admitting to the fraud. And in the document, the person said, I paid $8,000. I was paid $8,000 to marry this woman, and I attended at an office for my wedding. And after the vows were taken, I asked to kiss my wife, and she said, no. That's evidence we only have because somebody came forward and voluntarily provided it. Now, it's very difficult to conduct investigations and get evidence when you don't have that voluntary evidence being provided. So that's why I gave that example, so you could understand that it's going to be very difficult to unravel that more than $1,000 mess that we met. But time will tell. No, sorry, 1,000 plus persons, sorry. No, it was 8,000, between 8 and 11,000 was the going rate apparently. And I was informed that some people would get married, take their money, divorce, and then find another person to get another 8,000. It was a very, very lucrative industry for many people, unfortunately. But it's going to take a little while to unravel because it's very complex and it's very difficult. What has been done though as a policy, because what has been recognized is not just the persons who with sham marriages who were registering to vote. They were also trying to pass down the citizenship to their children. So for example, somebody who had a child in another place, they would get married here, gain the citizenship, and then apply for their child who was in another country to get the citizenship. What has been done on advice from the chambers is that every application that is made for citizenship, there must be an affidavit swearing that it was not by way of fraud, which puts the person at risk of prosecution for perjury if there is then evidence discovered that it was a sham marriage, so that the fruits of the rotten tree don't continue. That is how we've tried to protect our country in that regard, but it's going to be very difficult to unravel as you would expect with those types of numbers.
Mr. AG, you are the chief advisor and representative for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. My 7-year-old baby girl would not make this kind of mistake. If you are telling us that your assumption is 1,200 fake marriages and you don't have the facts, why come to the general public with it? Why expose it to the world? You come to the people with facts. You are a trained attorney, very good one too. I have experienced you, and I know you got common sense. No matter what Patchy said, I believe you got common sense. I have experienced your performance. This is a big mistake, because you know that you will never be able to prove not 12 fake marriages, 1,200, fake marriages. So you all come to these press conferences trying to rile up people to give impression that you are doing some kind of work that you all ain't doing. Like I said before, the Prime Minister have some people around him that has the art down pack to make it look like they're doing a great job, which they're not doing nothing. They're not capable of doing the work that they've been paid to do. And you guys expect the general public to just sit back and swallow what you all say and don't ask no question. Well, guess what? This DJ gonna ask the question then, and the people are asking the DJ the question then, because I tell people on a daily basis, up to yesterday, people meeting me in the circus down the ferry terminal when I traverse the country. Marisha, how things going, whatever. Tell them I only talk my things on a Wednesday evening. The rest of the week is for me to get back into my life and try and enjoy some of St. Kitts. Because many of them out there, when they see you all dapsing up you all, telling you all good job, great job, they are the same people cussing you all on the corner with me. A lot of them who are the benefiting and getting the contract then. When they see me on the street, it's the same people come to me complaining. So, you stop out there and get upset with the DJ when the DJ speak and continue to prop up them fakers you all have amongst yourselves. Because come election day, is when the numbers are going to surprise all you. My boy Timothy asked him what happened to him, Timothy thought he had everything locked until he wake up the next day. And Mr. AG, what I really wanted to hear from you all, what I really wanted to hear from the press conference, I don't hear nothing. I don't know if I missed something. But I'm going to play this clip. And I need to find out, this is something I know. You don't have to wonder. There's a paper trail with the 400 million. You all know where the paper trail take are you. Or you know which accounts they're in. I want to know what your office is doing about this $400 million, Mr. AG.
That sovereign wealth fund, had it been in place, the money that was in the SIDF, the nearly $500 million that was spent out of the SIDF without the people knowing that money could have been placed in the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and that money could have been used in a more strategic way where you maintain the fund and you were able to raise significant revenues to different types of actions. Instead, all the money has gone down the drain and we were not told how the money was spent. That is a travesty, Madam Speaker. That hurts deeply. How could we have spent over $400 million and not tell the people that that money was being spent? That is, of course, I will leave that there, but just to let you know that for the first time, we will have a sovereign wealth fund set up. So,
Mr. Prime Minister, this is your partner, DJ Marisha, reaching out to you. You cannot leave it there and the money ain't gone on the drain. I'll challenge you and I'll put it to you and your Labour administration that the paper trail is there where the $400 million went or where it is. And I want you, Mr. Prime Minister, to follow the money and tell the country where the money is. Tell the country where the money is, Mr. Prime Minister. I see someone calling in, and I did not invite anyone to this podcast this evening, and I'm not taking no unknown calls. So whoever you are trying to call in, send me a WhatsApp message, let me know who you are, and I'll be happy to bring you in. I am not taking no unknown calls. I need to know who is calling in. So whoever it is, hang up, send me a WhatsApp message, and I will let you in. I don't have a problem having a conversation with anyone. Now, my good people, according to Premier Brantley, money dropping off a truck all over the place. And if it was not so serious, it would be laughable. Because when someone sent me this clip and told me what Premier Brantley was saying at whether a press conference or whatever, I had to laugh because they say the way the money dropping off the truck, they wish they wanted to pick up some. So let's take a quick listen to Premier Brantley.
Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College. And nearly $500,000 that disappeared. They say it fall off a truck. I don't hear a word being said about that. And that was only the money because that was the fees that students paid. Students paid over $800,000. And during the tenure of one of them who talking the most, he's the man in charge. Only 300 and something thousand reached the bank. Nearly $500,000 disappeared. Poof. Gone. Nobody knows where it's gone. Then, you had money taken out of people's Social Security, but it didn't reach Social Security. You had money taken out of pension, but it didn't reach pension fund. Let back on. But I want to know who thieved the money at CFBC. Money went missing up there daily. I want to know who took that money daily. I need to know. How did that money fall off that truck on a daily basis? Nobody seems to be asking the question. That's what WinFM I want to ask them, Because maybe they don't answer me, but they'll answer you. Right? You said it was a daily occurrence. It was.
Yes, my good people. Like I said, the Premier got a good future when he finished as Premier of...
If on a daily basis...
When he finish as the Premier of Nevis, he can go and be a stand-up comedian because he's speaking about thieving on a daily basis someplace. And that's definitely a stand-up comedian kind of thing. Well, my good people, some time ago, I never thought we will be at this juncture where we are today. Several months back, could be more than a year ago, I had a gentleman here in this podcast by the name of Mr. Oakland Benter. Oakland Benter, former police chief of the Virgin Islands, former senator of the Virgin Islands, a man with an impeccable record, impeccable background, even though some people try to dirty name. I have confidence in the gentleman. He was trying to break down for us the situation with our CBI and the effect of China getting into the back door in the Caribbean and the US position on these things. And we took it lightly. And within the last couple of days, we have heard of this matter that a letter was sent to the Caribbean countries from the US speaking about anyone doing business with Cuba. But I don't think people realize that it's more than just Cuba. They are more concerned about the impact and the connection and the reach that China has made into the Caribbean islands. So let's take a quick listen to a little news item here.
Caribbean leaders, choose America or China. You can't have both. Is the Caribbean caught in the middle of a new Cold War? Donald Trump has reportedly sent a clear warning to Caribbean leaders. Either stand with America or risk losing U.S. support by deepening ties with China. As tensions between Washington and Beijing escalate, the Caribbean has become a key battleground for influence. With billions of dollars in Chinese investments pouring into the region and the U.S. looking to reassert control, Trump's message is loud and clear. Choose wisely. This isn't just a political showdown. It's about economic survival, national security, and the future of the Caribbean. With China building ports, highways, and energy projects in several nations, the U.S. sees a direct threat to its dominance in the Western Hemisphere. Trump, known for his America First policies, is now pressuring leaders in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and the wider Caribbean to rethink their partnerships. The big question is, will the Caribbean comply or resist?
We must be prepared. We can't approach this with any panic.
In the last 2 decades, China has aggressively expanded its economic footprint in the Caribbean. From the Baha Mar Resort in the Bahamas to highways in Jamaica and port expansions in Trinidad, Beijing has been pouring billions into infrastructure projects across the region. Unlike the United States, China offers easy access loans with low interest rates, often requiring no political conditions. This has made them an attractive alternative for cash-strapped Caribbean governments looking for ways to develop their economies without the bureaucracy of Western financial institutions. However, these deals come with concerns. Many of these loans are structured under China's debt diplomacy model, where if a country is unable to repay, Beijing can take control of strategic assets. This has already happened in Sri Lanka, where China now controls a major port due to a defaulted loan. Could the same fate await Caribbean nations? The U.S. seems to think so, and that's why Trump's administration is now drawing a red line on China's growing influence.
China and Caribbean countries have a long tradition of friendly exchanges. Our diplomatic relations are roughly as old as CARICOM. 10 years ago, President Xi Jinping paid a historic visit to Trinidad and Tobago and met with leaders of all the Caribbean countries having diplomatic relations with China and established the China-Caribbean Comprehensive Cooperative Partnership. And ever since then, we have made great achievements and accomplishments, and China-Caribbean relations has become a shining example of mutual respect, equality, mutual benefit, and win-win cooperation.
Reports suggest that Trump has privately warned Caribbean leaders that continued alignment with China could have serious consequences. His administration views China's economic involvement in the region as a direct challenge to U.S. authority. Washington's fear is that these projects are not just about business, but also about Beijing gaining long-term strategic leverage over the region. With China controlling key infrastructure, the U.S. worries that Caribbean nations might be forced to side with Beijing in future diplomatic disputes. A senior White House official reportedly stated, "The United States will not stand by and watch as our closest neighbors drift into the orbit of a communist regime." This suggests that Caribbean leaders could face economic or diplomatic consequences if they refuse to distance themselves from China. Could Trump threaten trade deals, impose sanctions, or even reduce aid? History shows that the U.S. has used economic pressure in the past to get its way. The Caribbean might soon find itself caught in a dangerous game between two superpowers.
The U.S. has not spent great amounts of money in Latin America.
And the Chinese, for years.
They have very high levels of investment just about in every country, from Venezuela to Brazil to Argentina to Bolivia to Chile.
The Chinese government and closely aligned military affiliates have spent billions in our region granting loans and building political alliances.
For Caribbean leaders, this is a high-stakes dilemma. On one hand, China has provided much-needed financial support, helping to fund roads, hospitals, and energy projects without the political conditions often attached to Western aid. On the other hand, the U.S. remains the Caribbean's largest trading partner, the main source of remittances, and a key ally in security and regional stability. If Trump follows through on his warning, Caribbean nations could find themselves cut off from U.S. economic support, a move that could devastate their already fragile economies. At the same time, China's investments come with long-term obligations. If Caribbean nations cannot repay their debts, they risk handing over key assets to Beijing, leading to a loss of sovereignty. This is not just an economic decision, it's a geopolitical one. If the region chooses China, it risks angering the U.S. If it aligns with America, it may lose access to critical funding from Beijing. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Caribbean governments must decide whether to prioritize short-term economic gains or long-term geopolitical stability. So, what happens next? Will Caribbean leaders comply with Trump's warning and distance themselves from China? Or will they continue to pursue Beijing's financial backing despite the risks? The coming months will be crucial in determining how this power struggle unfolds. Some governments may attempt a delicate balancing act, maintaining strong ties with both powers without fully committing to either. Others may be forced to choose a side if economic or diplomatic pressure from the U.S. intensifies. If Trump is serious about confronting China's influence, we could see major policy shifts, potential trade restrictions, diplomatic efforts to counter China's presence, or even increased military presence in the region. On the flip side, Beijing is unlikely to back down, meaning the Caribbean could become an even bigger battleground in this new Cold War. One thing is certain, this fight for influence is far from over, and Caribbean nations must tread carefully to avoid being collateral damage in a global power struggle. This battle between superpowers is heating up fast. Should Caribbean nations bow to Trump's pressure and cut ties with China? Or should they continue to take Beijing's money and risk U.S. retaliation? What would you do if you were a Caribbean leader? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, my good people. So like I said, this conversation that Brother Benton and I had not too long ago, never in my wildest dream I expected to be back at this conversation so quick. So, my good people, I come here on a Wednesday evening, try to present the facts as the research brings, and I hope that you appreciate it and you do your own investigation, because I'm pretty sure there's much more information where this comes from. Now, I listened to a statement by the Prime Minister, where the Prime Minister said, where there is no audit, you cannot prove there is corruption, you can assume there are corruptions. And I could say to the Prime Minister, just the same that you feel that where there are no audits, you can assume there are corruption. Where there are not straight, honest answers, the citizens have a right to assume corruption. And that is why you're being accused of being corrupt. Because there's so many things out there that is in front of you, Mr. Prime Minister. And you seems to be playing hoop with some of them. Because as the Minister of Health for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, Mr. Prime Minister, I know it for a fact. I've heard it several times on this podcast mentioned by Mr. Sam Kanda, and you said it at your press conference. Our transactional constitution that was created jointly between the PAM, led by Dr. Kennedy Simmons, and Simeon Daniel, led by the Premier for Nevis at the time, the Honorable Simeon Daniel. He's now national hero, 2 national heroes. I do not know how you all get to give them those status as national heroes, because in my view, what they did with that constitution really destroying the fabric of what we're dealing with right now. They are no heroes for the country. They destroy the country. We started off from my little boyhood when I could understand. St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla. I remember singing the anthem during statehood, right? In 1967, I was not old enough to understand what's going on. But as I get older, I understood that Anguilla seceded in 1967. I still have Anguilla as part of the Federation. We have roots in Anguilla, friends in Anguilla, and we are close to Anguillians. Some of my best friends are in Anguilla. Terry Adams, the new premier, Cora, Joy Gums, and these guys. When I go to Anguilla, these are the folks that hosted us in 2019 for our cricket and domino games in St. Martin and Anguilla. Right? So in those days, the now premier, she was in opposition fighting to get into office. But she hosted us as a community festivity in her district, playing some dominoes with the Anguilla domino all-star team. So I had a good time with them. So I still have love for Anguilla and people in Anguilla at all levels. Now, when it comes to our constitution, the Prime Minister reminded us that in the constitution, there is nothing such as St. Kitts. There is something called Nevis. There's an island called Nevis. But nowhere in that constitution, there's an island called St. Kitts. However, there is a federation called St. Christopher Nevis. In that constitution, Nevis can get up and decide if they get the referendum and get the numbers to walk away from St. Kitts at any time. St. Kitts cannot walk away from Nevis. All of this dance about fair share and whatever, there's no fair share for St. Kitts, you know. There's nothing there for St. Kitts. There's something there for St. Christopher and Nevis. And this is why when I hear the Divisive talking about we need to go back and redo the constitution that they could get the fair share. We're saying it's want the fair share too, if that's why I want to go with it. Talk about the whole matter that the constitution in itself is a mess because it was transactional. And to date, a lot of people, I have respect for them until I hear them talking the nonsense that they're talking. Because I did not know St. Kitts were pumping so much money into Nevis annually. And if the federal government is supporting Nevis so handsomely, in that constitution, I understand they're saying that the Prime Minister of the Federation, who is the head of the Federation, cannot ask the Premier of Nevis or the government of Nevis what they do with the money that they send over there. Now, which part of all of that makes sense? You are giving your child or your children money to do whatever they have to do. And they keep asking for more. You cannot ask them why you need more money, why you did not use the money to do what you say you're going to do with it. So when Dwyer talking about the ECCB situation that they need answers, well, Dwyer, the problem is right here in our doorstep, you know. Your boy getting millions after millions over the years and he have not justified what he do with the money. I'm not saying that he thief it. Maybe he do what he had to do and he need more. But they should be able to justify what the money was used for. That's what the people are asking for. Just the same here in St. Kitts. We talk about everything except what we're supposed to be speaking about. We speak about the cruise ship them coming, 2, 4, 3, 10, 6 cruise ship coming, and they're bragging about the amount of cruise ship. But are they telling us the effect the cruise ship have on us positively and negatively when they come here? What does the cruise ship expect from us? Are they taking water from us? Are they dumping the garbage in our shores? What are the benefits? What are the negative? What are they paying for? I'm not getting no individual report on that. There's more questions than answers. Some weeks ago, I heard a journalist ask the Prime Minister if he was on track for the 25 by 25 food security. And the Prime Minister danced around the question. I was of the view that they were not. But we find out now they said they push it to 2030. My problem with this government, they have done so much good since they've been in office, but they're inflicting the problems on themselves because they're not being open with the people. When a simple yes or no question is asked, just answer with yes or no. Don't get into no long explanation. It's a yes or no question. Are we on track? Yes. Let the reporter ask why. And let's move on. So we're looking at 2030. And the thing about it is, I saw one of the journalists yesterday and I had a conversation with him. And I told him how I felt. And this is a gentleman that I respect. I love his attitude and everything like that. But a lot of these journalists are dependent on the government or the ministers for benefit. So they're very careful with the questions they ask and the things like they say. Well, my good people, sometimes you have to just feel the pain, suffer to bring out the good. Because you employ this politician for 5 years. And I'm sure by now you guys have realized no government have to stay there for 5 years. If we feel strong enough that they're not doing what we put them to do, we take them out. You don't have to wait for 5 years. They're going to come and tell you they give you a job, so they're going to make you feel guilty. But remind them that you give them a job first. That's how they was able to give you a job. You do them a favor, and they was able to do something, and they're not doing you a favor. You're making a contribution, because if nobody at all got to work in the civil service, the government cannot run the country on their own. So they must hire people to do the work. So don't let them brainwash you that they're doing you a favor. Ask the question them. Hold their foot to the fire. This JAD business, again, I spoke about it before. There are people out there dying for hunger. There's poverty in the country. And some people want to act like there's no poverty. If you listen to the Prime Minister's report at that press conference about the amount of money that was paid out, how much money went for food, electricity, and otherwise, that should be a wake-up call. I have said right on this podcast on numerous occasions, at least a third of the country is not benefiting from these things that we call stimulus and benefits from the CBI, benefits from the JAD. I went across to social myself to find out what was the criteria to get a social security number. And they told me, you got to be 16 years of age and you must have a job or self-employed. The criteria to get these dividends from CBI and this 250 for the JAD and any other stimulus is that you must have a social. So more than a third of the country are not benefiting who need it the most. Is the people that already have it are benefiting all the time. Since I've been here, I walk around the country. People asking me for $5 there, $10 there, $20 there. It adds up. I'm not a politician, but I help. There's a couple of businesses out there from time to time. They give me a little contribution, and I want to thank them. They're individual as well. Because when that money comes in, it goes back out to the people. That's why I always take the time out to big up people like Jeff Freights and Son, bakery in Molineux, the supermarket in Molineux, and the Freights Bakery there in Borio. My boy Eustace, Warner there, Warner One Stop. Jenkins Funeral Home, Sadler Funeral Home. Paris Pharmacy, Smart Fit there, and Central Street. My boy Carbo take care of me with my goat water and make sure I'm all right. My boy Banky take care of me, my boy there. Brother Trust take care of me. Brother Daniel. The good people in Newton Ground. Island purified water. They make sure I'm hydrated. Because without this water on a Wednesday night, I can't make it to the show, you know. Think it is hot. So, Brother Powell, thanks for your continued support. And like I always say to your people, support businesses that support you. Here in St. Kitts, I see all kind of other water people purchasing. Support the businesses that support you, your own. Island Purified Water, Main Street, Newton Ground, St. Kitts. I could speak for them. Support them. When I go to these Chinese store and I tell them I short 50 cents, and I want to hear it, you know. They want every cent. When I go to Island Purified Water and I ask them for 2 cases of water, they give it to me. These are the places I can't go to them and tell them, boy, sponsor me a case of water. No, I got to buy it. So let's support the businesses that support us. Island Purified Water. My good people, don't expect me to leave here this evening without giving an update on my brother Lord Black. You all know how I feel about that situation. I'm going to close off at 8 o'clock on the dot. I have no intention of going over time. So it's almost at the bottom of the hour, 7:29. So let me give an update here, my brother Lord Black. Today, March 12, 2025. It marks 224 days since Kans went missing on August 1st, 2024. And I'm giving these dates weekly now. Because there's people sitting in parliament is telling me they don't know the information I'm giving here. You know. Some of them are asking me if Kans was found. At the DPP office, some people don't know about this case. So I don't know what they're discussing their cabinet on a Monday. And I do not know what the Attorney General do at his office. But I am saying to you guys that there are people that do not know about this information that Kans went missing. And Kans was found dead. And Kans was buried. People still do not know. So let me give the information. Today mark 224 days since Kans went missing on August 1st, 2024. Today mark 216 days since he was found in a gut site in Sadler's Mountain. Dead. 204 days since his funeral. More than 26 weeks since letters was wrote to the Ministry of Health. They said they're working on some regulation. I'm still waiting to hear the status of those regulations. I'm going to give them time. But my concern here is, why after all this time the family still cannot hear from the Department of Health or the police with some updates? I met with the Prime Minister just 2 Fridays ago. And I must say we had a very open conversation. And to his credit, after he explained to me certain things, I realized that the homes, those homes are under the Deputy Prime Minister's responsibility, his ministry, aging and disability. That's the same Deputy Prime Minister that I reach out to get help, to get resources to help search for Kans. I'm still waiting. More than 200 days. I still have not received a call from the Honorable Jeffrey Handley. The Dishonorable Jeffrey Handley. These are the people that want to come talk to you in a couple of months. So to vote for them again. And Mr. Prime Minister, if you need, number one, that seat up there for Jeffrey Handley, if you need it let me put it this way, to form a government, you better ask Jeffrey to change, you know. Because this DJ will not be campaigning for Jeffrey under the current status quo, you know, unless you are going to put a different candidate to run up there. But Jeffrey going to have a problem with me unless he's sure some respect for the people of this federation that elect him. I have heard he say that if he not get win back his seat, he not care because he set. They're going to be set. All of them going to be set. Because, Mr. Prime Minister, I hear some rumors, you know. And I hope the rumors I'm hearing is not true. Since the AG is talking about 1,200 cases of fake marriages that he ain't gonna proof for, it's only fair that the DJ tell you about some news he get, but he never got the facts as yet. So, Mr. Prime Minister, you got to look into it. That PEP or STEP office need to be seriously investigated, you know. Because there are people, I understand, who was on the STEP or the PEP, who no longer get the money, but the money is still coming out in their name, you know. So which account their money going to? If people was on the STEP or the PEP or whatever other social program, and they don't get the money anymore, but the money is coming out weekly or monthly, where the money going? We want to know. And this is why people talking about corruption. We fight against it under the previous administration. It's happening today. That's what the people are saying. We want straight answers. We don't want no combating. We want straight answers, Mr. Prime Minister, because this is the things on the road. This is what we are hearing. People are presenting documents to show these things. You all have the information there in the office. Do an audit of the STEP office or the PEP office. You got people in this position hiring their family and friends who are not qualified for jobs. But yet, people who are qualified cannot get a break. There are areas that people cannot get a contract because they are a PAM or they are a unity. All of this thing is nonsense. We are a criticism and division. If somebody is capable of doing a proper work, an honest work, give them the work. You might have somebody working for them who is one of your supporters. So the money trickle down. Let the economy run. There's a lot more things that I have to hit, but I cannot hit it tonight because I don't want to start a conversation I cannot finish. Mr. Prime Minister, you meet with me for 10, 15 minutes. We cannot accomplish nothing in 10, 15 minutes. So I got 2 hours here to speak to you on a Wednesday night, so I use my time. So it's your choice. We speak in private or we speak here on a Wednesday night. Because the people are hurting. I'm feeling their pain. I'm seeing it for myself. These things are factual. So, Mr. Prime Minister, I know that to be a good citizen, you know, to be a good citizen, you get a lot of knockabout, right? So I'm prepared to take me knockabout from how if I want to knock me about. So let me calm down and drop this track here by the Mighty Sparrow and get back to you.
When does someone really become a good citizen? I'd like to know for sure. Why, when the ordinary man disagrees with the establishment, they call it treason. Why should they persecute a brother for seeking black power? Don't they know a blind man could see that this is blatant hypocrisy? The real traitors and them are all high in society. Yet the government protecting all of them and penalizing you and me. And in a million different ways they violated law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppress the poor. They sell in black market, making excess profit, paying a starvation salary. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery. say you have the right to criticize, but then you are victimized, and without any reason. Many a time you find yourself politically paralyzed by that same good citizen. Yet these fakes and phonies enjoy a long life of luxury while they spread corruption throughout the country. When they should be arrested, they're protected and respected in this society, and in a million different ways they violate the law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppress the poor with a false declaration, tax evasion, defrauding customs duty. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery.
For sure.
Lust and greed and fraud and strife, they specialize. Double deals, they idolize. If you're brave enough to open your mouth and criticize, one time you are ostracized and or victimized. Still they go unpunished and unaccused of any crime, while on the backs of the ordinary man these vultures climb. They use the riches and the power, make a mockery of the law, and have the law protect them same time. In a million different ways they violate the law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppress the poor. They controlling bootlegging, dope peddling, prostitution and piracy. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery.
You know, my good people, I don't just laugh when people just not get the message. They get the message, but they just don't understand. And they still understand, because guess what? A lot of them walk around with their eyes open shut. My good people, you all complain to me on the street all the time. You all complain to your friends, them, it get back to me. But you all come on this podcast and come into the thread and put in all kind of nonsense, like you all trying to stand up for government when all you out there bad mouthing them. Mr. Prime Minister, I played us a song here in 22 for the farmer administration. I have not played it since. My boy, Brother Berry asked me to play it some months ago, and I decided not to play it because people might take it the wrong way. But lyrically, this song is suitable, and I'm going to drop it for you now, Mr. PM. I'm going to drop it for you. Because guess what? The writing is on the wall. Pay attention to what the people are saying. Do not study the messenger, DJ Marisha, the music. Listen to the music. Listen to the message. And tell me if what the message is in this song is not happening today.
And vegans, wake up, open up your eyes. Your country needs you. Hope you realize our government is abusing its power and authority, and it is having adverse effects on the whole country. It is time for us to take a stand. After all, this is our native land. That is why I came back to sing, to expose the wicked things they're perpetrating. It is only time for the self-destruct. Greed and power is their TNT. Their purpose in government was for the bucks. They don't really care about this country. All the scheming can conniving plans have caught up with them. They are facing insurmountable problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall. If with him you don't agree, you can't progress in your country. Our government has no respect for the business community. No dialogue, they only causing loss indiscreetly. Taxing the poor ones who have no money, while their friends live in luxury. As a family and the Prime Minister and them young boys think they're on Antigua. It is only time before they self-destruct. Greed and power is their TNT. Their purpose in government was for the bucks. They don't really care about this country. All this scheming, conniving plans have caught up with them. They are facing insurmountable problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall. And victimization to those who express dissatisfaction with the way this government's squandering this country's revenue, accepting no accountability for the underhand things they just do, ostracizing those who say they are no good, and rewarding their friends some with knighthood. Hurricane mash up me place at Halcyon. I oppose them, so they come and take back the land. It is only time before they self-destruct. Greed and power is their TNT. Their purpose in government was for the bucks. They don't really care about this country. All the scheming, conniving plans have caught up with them. They are facing insurmountable problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall. I am the boss, come and oppose me. Ask God and Marshall, look what I did to Percy. He was standing in the way of my daughter's future, so I demoralized him with the aid of the newspaper. Will my people be bought out by duty-free? If we don't remove them in the next election, it will be a dark day for the future generation. So I'll leave them alone, let them self-destruct. Greed and power is their TNT. Their purpose in government was problems, and just as sure as the sun will rise, this government must fall. The handwriting is on the wall.
Yes, my good people, the small business in the Federation, the small businesses in the Federation of Sinkers and Navies, they are crying out for relief. And this did not just start under this administration. This goes back from COVID. They have not received the help that they should have received. And many have gone out of business. Many will be going out of business shortly, which means they're going to be a great deal of unemployed individuals. Well, some of you out there in the diaspora enjoying your 3 meals. Some of you call it 4 square meals. There are people here that is in need. And as I said before, if people are not getting information, they're going to form their own opinion. I used to travel with a young man, he passed away now, from St. Vincent. Very nice gentleman by the name of Winston Soso. And he did a song some years back, Too Much Corruption. And when he explained to me how that song came about, it's a universal song, you know. This song was not just for St. Vincent. It happened around the globe. The political system is corrupt, and we the people have to demand that it get better. But when you got some slimes out there, slimers, that is going through whatever they're going through in life, but they try to act like everything is okay, I am not going to stifle my conscience. I'm going to play my music. The message is in the music. Anyone have any objection to the message? No problem. But the DJ going to bring the message. So this one, my final track before I close out, Winston Soso, Too Much Corruption.
Too much corruption, too much brutality. This situation should be taken seriously. Every day somebody taking a human life. They play games, you don't know when the criminals inside. Too much murder and robbery. Can't be served by the police. Ain't no way to hide, ain't no way to run. How can we survive? They just keep going on. They're using guns and knives. They're looking for a fight. You either do or die. Protect your human rights. Oh, what a problem. They're crazy. Too much buildings on fire, leaving people with no homes. Crime rate getting higher, you can't walk the streets alone. It's such a shame how they knocking one another. I the gold chain, that's the latest thing they after. Raping young and old women. And when they done, they brutalize them. Ain't no way to hide, ain't no way to run. How can we survive if this keeps going on? They're using guns and knives, they're looking for a fight. You either do or die, protect your human rights. But around the corner, somebody killing their neighbor. You want to know the truth and see what's going on. Listen the evening news, look at your television. Can anybody tell me which way to turn? To bring them criminals guilty just can't be done. They belong in the jungle. How to rid the world of their evil? Ain't no way to hide, ain't no way to run. How can we survive if this keeps going on? They're using guns and good morning to anyone. The first thing they think is that you're mugging and they want to run. Police at war with civilians, and it's all because of them hooligans. Ain't nowhere to hide, ain't nowhere to run. How can we survive? The threat is going on. They're using guns and knives, they're looking for a fight. To either do or die, protect your human rights. It's good around the corner. Somebody killing their neighbor.
Yes, Sound of the Man Winston. So that one is called Too Much Corruption. My good people, as we come to the end of the program, just before I go, I have to give you some quick update on my sister's funeral there. I got the final update from my cousin there. The program says, join us to celebrate the life of Sylvia Hutchinson. Thursday, 3rd April 2025 at 11:45 a.m. at the Ashton Parish Church, Witten Lane, B660A. I think it's 60 or 6QA, one of them. You guys in England will know those address. I think it's Ashton Parish Church, Witten Lane, B6QA. And the interment will be at 2 p.m. at the Handsworth Cemetery, Oxford Road, Handsworth. That is B21 8JT. Now, I'm not going to give out the information for the repast because you folks might just show up to the repast and don't attend the funeral or the burial. So I would leave that information for the folks who will be attending the service or the burial to know where the repast will be. But save the date is April 3rd, Thursday. We send home my sister there, Sister Sylvia Hutchinson. And I want to thank all the folks who have reached out and show some concern and condolences. My good people, I look forward to come here on a Wednesday evening and give updates and have the conversation online. I appreciate everyone's comment. Whatever comments you produce is a good input. Everybody will have different opinions, but I appreciate the input. And my good people, when that time is right, everyone have one vote, one man, one woman, one vote. That is the time to make a difference. Until such time, there's really not much that I can do or say but to bring you the facts and present them as I see it. Love every time. My good people, as we're about to get out for your Sister Hazel, this one is Arise by the late great King Arrow. I know you love to bounce at it, but
your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in disharmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother, cannot love each other. No, I say no, potato. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, my good people, and that's it for this evening, Wednesday, March the 12th. Look forward to seeing you next week, same place, same time, 6 p.m. Right back here to give you another conversation.